with sharing this information for educational purposes and not for sympathy, but I have stage 1 prostate cancer. They did 12 biopsies, and 2 of them came back cancerous. 1 of them came back suspicious or inconclusive. It is very, very early. He mentioned something about a Gleason score and that mine was extremely low. So he's like, it is, you caught it at the earliest of early phases, which is a good thing. He's going to send off my, blood work or biopsies to do some genetic testing on it to determine if it's a slow-growing cancer or a fast-growing cancer, so we can then begin to explore what our treatment options were. I fast-forwarded, asked him what are my treatment options. He said radiation, some experimental drugs, and surgery by robot. And I just went ahead and told him, I don't need to wait for anything to come back. Let's just go ahead and remove it, do a surgery by robot. And I have an appointment on December 8th with the robot doctor to set up surgery to get it removed. Granted, they gave me a book to read or whatever, and I'll, read over it tonight and across the week. But right now, with very little education, my gut just tells me cut it out. I want it cut out. I don't want to go through radiation and all of these other things. So that's what's going on with me, guys. Don't cry for me, Argentina. Yes, I'm a little down about it, but I'm about to take a nap, and I'll be fine.
Funky Denva with his lackluster, mediocre announcement of him having prostate cancer. And y'all, when he came out to announce his prostate cancer diagnosis, first of all, he wanted to downplay it because, he's so smarter than everybody that, I got my don't cry for me, Argentina, because guess what, baby? I was too smart, baby. And I thought I felt something in my soul and in my spirit. And I went down to the doctor, and the doctor said one of these numbers is though you need to go get it checked out. And I did, baby, because I'm responsible. And the rest of y'all niggas are not. When I heard that you had cancer, didn't I say before the show, I was like, you know what? I really feel sorry for him.
Yeah.
And I was being sincere. I was like, Funky Denva to open the door for a lot of us to come marching through.
As I'm packing to go bury my husband, I'm pulling out all these outfits that he bought me and all the stuff he liked to see me wearing. My husband was so flashy, y'all. I gotta put him in the baddest time for a suit. I gotta get the baddest skin. I can't believe I have this conversation.
Hey guys, it's Mother Knows with your tea, just the way you like it. Raw, unfiltered, and comprehensive. Prayers up for media personality, Funky Denva. Funky has shared heartbreaking news revealing he's been diagnosed with prostate cancer after months of not feeling well. Fans are sending love and prayers as he begins his fight and focuses on his health, wishing him strength, healing, and support during his difficult journey. I'm a prostate cancer survivor. I advise my brothers to get screened today, especially Black men. Stop being afraid of the doctor. Get your yearly checkup, get your colonoscopy, and get that prostate checked, honey. You have a better chance to beat cancer if you catch it early. Take it from Mother Knows. Diddy reportedly organized Thanksgiving feast for 1,000 prisoners. You better work, Diddy. Happy Thanksgiving to you and the 1,000 prisoners that had a fabulous dinner yesterday. Diddy, through his rep, tells TMZ he worked with an internal group called Banglo Bosses. He and others bought food from a commissary, spent 2 days preparing it, and distributed it to every housing unit at Fort Dix. B.I., a former gang leader who helped organize the initiative, says, "We cooked the food and sent it to all the buildings, enough for about 200 people each building. It took 2 days to prep everything." A new video shows Diddy wrapping up his work, absolutely, for the evening at Fort Dix's media library located in the chapel where he helps gives movies and religious materials to inmates. You better work, Diddy. 50 Cent has agreed to settle a lawsuit accusing him of assault just days before Netflix is set to release the documentary he produced about Sean Diddy Combs. Guadalupe de los Santos filed a civil complaint against 50 Cent earlier this year accusing the rapper of assaulting him in LA. In the complaint, De Los Santos alleged that in September 2024, 50's SUV came up behind him while he waited at a traffic light, and as it approached him, the front passenger door suddenly and forcefully opened without warning or provocation and struck him on his left side, knocking him and his scooter to the street. De Los Santos alleged in the complaint that an occupant of the SUV at defendant Jackson's direction opened the door to intentionally strike him. The complaint sought damages for assault, battery, intentional affliction of emotional distress, and negligence in an amount to be determined at trial. And that's your tea.
You guys, if you've been online lately, you probably already know the internet is going absolutely wild over two stories, both shocking, but for completely different reasons. One involves a major health revelation from Funky Denva, and the other is a messy, drama-filled situation surrounding Mika and her late husband's funeral. And trust me, these stories aren't what they seem at first glance. Stick around, because what I'm about to share will shock you, and you're going to want to hear the full story before forming an opinion. Let's start with Funky Denva. If you haven't heard, he recently shared on Instagram that he has prostate cancer. And no, this isn't just some passing comment. He got very detailed about what he's facing. Funky Denva went to his urologist, had 12 biopsies done, and unfortunately, 2 of them came back positive for cancer, while 1 was inconclusive. The good news? It's stage 1, and his Gleason score is extremely low. Now, if you're wondering what the Gleason score even is, here's the gist. It's basically a measure of how aggressive prostate cancer is. The lower the score, the better, because that means the cancer is slow growing and less likely to spread quickly. In Funky's case, catching it at stage 1 with a very low Gleason score is literally the best possible scenario. He caught it early, which is crucial, because so often prostate cancer shows no symptoms in its early stages. Funky also went over his treatment options with his doctor. There were 3 main paths: radiation, some experimental drugs, or surgery, robot-assisted surgery to be specific. And after weighing the options, Funky decided, let's just cut it out. He's going in for robotic surgery on December 8th. No waiting for anything else. He's choosing action over uncertainty, which is honestly inspiring. He emphasized that he's sharing this to educate people, not for sympathy. Here's the takeaway: early detection matters. Men over 40, or even 45, need to get screened regularly. And this is especially important for Black men, who statistically are at higher risk for prostate cancer. Funky Denva's situation is serious, but thanks to early detection, he has options and is making informed decisions. It's a reminder for everyone watching: don't put off your health checkups. Catching something early can make all the difference. But while Funky Denva is dealing with this personal, private battle, the internet was also lighting up over another story. This one public, messy, and full of drama. And that's Mika and the controversy surrounding her late husband, Jamar Chan. Here's the backstory. Mika and Jamar had a long and complicated relationship. They knew each other for a full decade before ever dating. He pursued her for 10 years before she finally gave him a chance in 2020. 4 months after they started dating, they got engaged. But just 3 weeks later, Mika called off the engagement. Somehow, they ended up back together and married in 2021. They had a daughter together, a little girl named Amani. By 2023, they were separated, and in January 2024, Mika filed for an annulment. Tragically, Jamar passed away in a car accident on October 28th in Houston, Texas. Naturally, this devastated Mika. The funeral took place on November 8th, and this is where things started to get complicated. Mika posted 20 photos from the funeral on Instagram, photos of herself crying, grieving, and holding her daughter. And that's when the internet really went wild. Some people called her posts performative, accusing her of trying to get attention. They questioned why someone would hire a photographer at a funeral to take pictures of their grief. And yes, that is unusual, but it's also her personal choice. Mika clapped back hard. She posted on her Instagram story basically saying, "If you have a problem with how I grieve, unfollow me. I owe nobody an explanation." She thanked her supporters for checking on her and standing by her. And yet, despite her defense, the situation escalated further. Enter Jamar's brother. he publicly called Mika out on Instagram, saying that she didn't cry about his brother's death and that the funeral photos were just for show. He tagged her directly, and suddenly, the drama turned into a full-on social media war. Messages and IG stories flew back and forth, with both sides accusing each other of dishonesty and disrespect. At one point, Mika's response was fierce. She told him he was fake and accused him of gossiping while pretending to support her in person. He threatened to expose her if she didn't follow him on social media, and she clapped back again. The feud spiraled into real-life threats, with claims that security might even be needed at the funeral to prevent physical altercations. The internet, of course, ate this up. Comments were divided. Some viewers sided with Mika, saying that grief is personal and messy, and she has every right to document it however she wants. Others felt like it was attention-seeking or in poor taste, calling her behavior dramatic. And that's the core of the debate. When someone experiences a deeply personal loss, what's appropriate for social media and what's not? This situation is messy because it isn't just about grief. It's about how social media shapes the way we process emotions publicly. The internet rewards visibility, even in moments of private pain. And for someone like Mika, who is in the public eye, the pressure to perform grief, or at least to appear authentic, is enormous. But there's a fine line between sharing your pain and performing it for an audience. I'll be honest, watching these posts and the back and forth between Mika and Jamar's brother made me reflect on my own relationship with social media. In a world where every moment is documented, are we grieving authentically? Or are we curating even our most painful experiences for likes, comments, and attention? It's a tough question, and there's no one answer. What's fascinating here is the contrast between the two stories. On one hand, Funky Denva is dealing with something extremely serious, intensely personal and private. His battle with cancer is real, and he's choosing how and when to share it. On the other hand, Mika is navigating grief in the most public way possible, and every action she takes is scrutinized, criticized, and debated online. This contrast highlights a larger truth about life in the digital age. Private struggles remain private only if we choose them to be. Public life, even when it involves deeply personal pain, opens you up to scrutiny, judgment, and sometimes conflict that you never signed up for. It's also worth noting that grief doesn't look the same for everyone. People process loss differently, and there's no single correct way to mourn. Mika's choice to share her experience publicly may not resonate with everyone, but it's her coping mechanism. Meanwhile, Funky Denva's method of sharing selectively and educating others about health risks is another form of resilience. Both approaches are valid. They're just different. Social media adds another layer of complexity. It amplifies everything: the drama, the support, the criticism. It turns personal moments into public spectacles, whether we want that or not. And viewers like us are part of that ecosystem. We comment, share, and sometimes judge, but we're also witnesses to these very human stories. Here's a critical takeaway. Whether it's a health crisis like Funky Denva's or grief like Mika's, we all face moments in life that test us. How we respond, whether quietly or publicly, shapes the narrative others see. Funky Denva chose action and transparency. Mika chose expression and public visibility. Both are navigating life's toughest challenges in their own way, and both remind us that there's no perfect formula for dealing with pain. Now, let's take a moment to reflect. Think about the last time you faced a serious challenge. Did you share it openly, like Mika, hoping for support or connection? Or did you deal with it privately, like Funky Denva, focusing on solutions and personal growth? There's no right or wrong answer. It's about what works for you and what keeps you moving forward. And that's exactly why these stories are so captivating. They aren't just gossip, they're reflections of life itself. Funky Denva's story reminds us of the importance of vigilance, self-care, and taking control of your health. Mika's story reminds us of the complexities of grief, social expectations, and how public life intersects with personal pain. Together, they paint a picture of human resilience, vulnerability, and the messy, unpredictable ways we navigate challenges. So, what's the ultimate lesson here? Life throws private battles and public storms at us constantly. We get to choose how we respond. We can fight silently, like Funky Denva, or we can express publicly, like Mika. But either way, The courage it takes to face these challenges, whether behind closed doors or on Instagram, is what makes their stories worth watching. And here's a thought to leave you with. The internet will always have an opinion, but real life, the private and messy stuff, is yours alone. You don't have to perform your struggles for anyone. You don't have to justify your choices to strangers. Whether it's health, grief, or any other challenge, what matters most is that you face it authentically, on your terms. So, I want to hear from you. Which story impacted you more? Funky Denva's fight against cancer, or Mika's public grieving in the feud with Jamar's brother? And what would you do in their place? Comment below. I want to know what you think. Remember, these stories are more than headlines. They're a window into the real, messy, complicated lives of people we see online every day. And whether you relate, disagree, or just feel shocked, there's a lesson here about resilience, choice, and how we navigate life's toughest moments. All right, that's all I have for today. 2 stories, 2 perspectives, and a lot to think about. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss the next story that's breaking the internet. Until next time, take care of yourself, check on your loved ones, and remember, life is messy, unpredictable, and sometimes a little wild.